Hey there guys, and welcome to the first social race, or like official race of 2020. With a new game coming out, races will eventually begin, and this is the first one I participated in. This is around Zandvoort in AOR. It's wet conditions, kind of. As you can see, I'm losing the back end, can't take the banking flat, so it is very difficult, but the dries are still the best tire. So we're just going to have to make the best use out of the conditions. And yeah, it's very slippery, but at the end of the first lap, times will be down. We set a 16.2, which isn't ideal, but hey, we eventually will go out again. But yeah, we dropped down to 9th behind our teammate, and pole at the minute is an 18 flat, which 18 flat, 15 flat, which is fairly quick in these conditions. But we go out later in the session, about 8 minutes left to go. We went out and stick on board with this lap as we just gain large amount of time through turn 1 already, as it is clearly drier and it will be drying up. Jeff said it will be dry by the end of the session, so we're hoping for that, but already over a second up, and about now is when the rain stops. So this is perfect for us, as we can just keep on doing our lap. This looks like it'll be pole, going purple in sector 1, and the Haas is stranded there. Little bit of spin. Got a car ahead of us, won't be that bad. Yeah, it won't affect us that much. They just get out of the way of the McLaren. Nice of them to do that. But as we continue on into this last sector, which is a bit more difficult, well, a bit more difficult than usual, as it is a bit wet. But already, sector 2, purple. Onyx has sets in 11.7, but we did start our lap a bit later, so this will be a bit quicker, considering that the track evolution is very, very quick on this game, and we set an 11.5 ourselves, which is provisional pole at the minute. But we dropped down to 7th, and immediately we'll go on to our next lap. As when I asked Jeff about the weather, he said that in 5 minutes there was going to be even more rain. So I wanted to set a lap immediately. So we'll run through this lap on the start finish straight, braking about 75 meters, 70 meters, but we go a bit deep due to the colder conditions. Still gain a good 5/10 through turn 2 and then turn 3. This hairpin like corner, and you just lock up a little bit. Helps with the braking, not too bad. Obviously preferential not to lock up. But anyway, as we run through this kind of S section, it's very flat into this fast right-hander. Just need to shift down one gear and you're set through this right. We missed the apex a little bit, so lots of time in this lap. We will go on anyway. Brake marker on the right is broken, so we just have to almost guess the braking. Get the traction down, open up DRS, already 2.1 seconds up on our time. And then as we head through sector 2, it's purple. So great stuff to see. Missed the apex a little bit, which forces us to go a bit deep, but still fine. Heading into the penultimate corner, braking fairly well, using a lot of curb. Could definitely be better, but sticking to the inside, opening up the DRS, gaining as much time as possible, and we set an 8.7, which isn't that bad of a lap considering the conditions, but definitely a lot of time in it. As you can see, we dropped down to 3rd. Vasta Racer set an amazing lap with an 8.2, and Jordan with an 8.5. So overall, not a bad quali. Lots of time to gain. But as we head into the race, I'm thinking about doing a soft hard. During practice, it felt like that was the obvious strategy for me. And yeah, just doing a practice start right now on the formation lap. Trying to get the tires warm. Lot of wheel spin there, but the tires are ice cold at the minute. But yeah, starting in P3 should be fairly well. We'll be obviously in the contention for the win from this position. But yeah, we'll just do our best to do wherever we can. Vasta Racer is extremely quick, and from the times he was doing, he was insane to say the least. So we're hoping to beat him if we can. Jordan ahead. I'm not really sure about his pace, but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. So we'll line up on the grid in P3. The outside line isn't that bad. Through turn 1 you can carry a lot of speed. It's just the turn 2 is also right, which kind of negates any overtaking opportunities. Overall, this track is pretty bad for overtaking. So we'll have to make use of this start, and hopefully get a good enough start to overtake at least Jordan, maybe. But we'll see. So we wait for every car to line up, and then lights will come on. We'll enable overtake at the start, just to get that extra exit, and we are go for the first race of 2020. And Jordan gets an amazing start. We'll try around the outside of Vasta Racer. So as I said, the outside line isn't that bad, but as we exit, Vasta Racer just gets such a great exit. So he has the inside line, but then he just loses the car completely, which allows us to go into P2. So that is great for us. It was so surprising to see that, considering how good of a position he was in, but we'll take what we can get. So on lap 1, I mean, it was great for us. We gained a position, but obviously Vast Racer, that must hurt. But anyway, as we cut on to the end of lap 2, Jordan sets at 12.2, we also set at 12.2, but a bit slower. Not ideal, really, but hey-oh, is what it is. But then Jordan leaves the session, he disconnected. So then we gain another position, as we will see, because the AI are, I think the AI is set to about 90 or something. So we are going to be gaining massively, and Jordan really needs to rejoin quickly, or else his race is practically ruined. It's already been damaged enough by this. And Jordan overall, he had decent pace throughout this, throughout this first stint. He was maintaining a pretty good gap of over a second. I was just trying to maintain my ERS anyway, because ERS is crucial in this game, and because you don't have none to utilize, it is very difficult in order to save ERS. It's almost like if you don't use overtake, you just maintain the same ERS level. But anyway, Jordan finally reconnects, but he has already lost so many positions. He's down in P5, and we take the lead. So that's great for us. But then, that means that we are under pressure from Table Clan behind, and they get like an amazing exit through that last corner, which allows them to close up so much. I have to use some overtake, I think. No, I don't. But Casper just absolutely dives around the outside. Table Clan just sticks their wing in and almost spins me round, but it's all good. There's some hard racing, but that was an amazing overtake by Casper, I might say. Just a double overtake using DRS and overtake. Yeah, just a brilliant move for him, and we're down in second again. But this time we're feeling the dirty air from behind Casper, because we weren't far enough behind Jordan to feel that dirty air. So now we're actually feeling that, and we get a warning here, which isn't very helpful. Of course, 3 warnings and you get a penalty. So I check on Casper and see if he has any warnings. I use some overtake to defend as well from Table Clan, and Casper locks up as well. So everyone's really struggling on these softs. Softs aren't an ideal race tire. They're not the worst, but they're not the best either. So we call on later on lap 8 as we're driving through, and a safety car comes out. So this kind of helps us, because we can then pit onto the hards, which allows us to run to the end, because the hards last a long time. Like, I was pitting on lap 10, and they were just over 80% by the end, but really the tire wear isn't that big of an issue with those tires, so it's all good. So lots of people will be diving into the pits, as long as as well as my teammate too. So that's a bit unfortunate for him, but we exit the pits in P2 at the minute, as Casper maintains his position. He extends the gap by a little bit, and then we have Cohen on the outside. He hasn't pit, he's on the mediums, and Casper manages to overtake him, but I don't. So this isn't great for us, because now Casper has that buffer, and Cohen will be a slower car because he hasn't pit whilst we're on fresh hards. So this is going to be difficult for us in a sense. And also we've got Thijman behind us, who's also pretty quick. So I just check on penalties at this point, see if anybody has anything really. Cohen's been doing amazing, he hasn't got any warnings. Casper has got 3 warnings, probably 1 for a collision with someone. But anyway, we need to warm these tires, because the hards they're really cold. They get cold really quickly, and as you can see, our rights are already just cold. Casper's weaving and overweaves a bit too much as he does a Bottas. So that gives us a position, so we don't have to worry about the buffer anymore. So we'll proceed to warm our tires. I was a bit tentative there because I didn't want to end up in the same situation as Casper, which wouldn't be nice. But anyway, regardless of that, we warm up our tires because having warm tires is the key, and Cohen just jumps us completely on this restart. We use overtake to try and keep up and also to defend from Fleischmann, who's under pressure from Loney also, so that's very crucial for us. We want them to battle. Fleischmann seems to defend that position as Loney drops out wide, but we'll stick behind Cohen at the minute. We're in a decent position, net P1 when Cohen pits, so this isn't that bad. So we cut to lap 13. DRS will be active, well, is active this lap, so we would be getting DRS, but then another safety car comes out as another car spins. Seems like it's in the same place as Casper spun, not sure, but yeah, we continue on. Cohen decides to pit, wise of him, get onto, I'm pretty sure, another set of hards, so he might be in contention in the race with 6 lap younger hards than us, but we'll have to wait and see for the time being. It's down in P5 in a minute, but then gets overtaken again, obviously being in the pits. Jordan hasn't pit yet, interestingly enough, even though he's on soft, so he might be going for the mediums, which is an interesting strategy. I felt like the mediums weren't the best tire for me. I just felt they weared out too quickly. There we go. But hey, just different driving styles, I guess. But anyway, we continue warming up our tires. Our rears are stone cold though, which ain't great. But put it up into rich, enable overtake, and try and get a good restart. Wasn't that bad, but we continue on into turn 1. We lead, which is great to see. But we have a massive lockup and we nearly lose the back end, so the tires are really cold, which isn't great at all considering we need to stay ahead of Fleischmann. But at the same time, most people's tires will be cold. The hards are very difficult to warm up, as I said, but we managed to get a 7/10 gap into this fast right, so things are looking pretty good for us at the minute. And as we cross the line on lap 18, we set a new personal best. Loney sets an 11.9. He's on the mediums, so he could be a threat, because if he manages to pass Deichmann quick enough and then catches up to us, we'll have to use a lot of overtake, a lot of fuel, lots of our resources, lots of our tires in order to defend. But we're setting decent pace, 12.1 at the minute. Loney sets an 11.7. Koala sets an 11.5. They're a bit down the field. And Loney and Deichmann tried going side by side. And what I find interesting here now is that Deichmann, if you look on the delta, is 1.3 seconds behind, but Loney is 1.2. Yet Deichmann is ahead of Loney. So that's a bit intriguing to see, because I do a bit of investigation and I see Deichmann is behind me, so delta is kind of lying to me. But Cohen also, he retires, so I said he would be in contention for maybe a good position, but unfortunately he was involved in an incident and has retired. But anyway, cutting on to lap 25, the soft stint is open, well, the pit window for the softs is open. I mean, we don't really need to do that, we'll lose too much time, and also the hards will last to the end. They will be very worn, as we can see we lock up on the hards. This corner is very easy to lock up on, so it wasn't ideal, but it is what it is. And we crossed the line on lap 26 with an 11.9, so finally dipping into the 11s, which is great. I start using standard as well, in order to just maximize the amount of time I can gain, because we have just so much fuel saved up from those safety car periods. We can afford to burn it now. Only about 50% ERS, so we still need to manage that a bit. 1.6 seconds behind, well, ahead of Deichmann. We set an 11.8 now, so pace is fairly good and fairly consistent, which is great to see. And up ahead, there's a lap car of Loney, who seems to have disconnected. So we'll thankfully get DRS from them, and now we're 1.9 seconds ahead of Feigeman, so we're pulling a really good gap, and we set 11.7 thanks to that DRS and overall better pace. Also, the hards seem to just get quicker and quicker as time goes on with less fuel. We go a bit wide there, bit of a mistake, but oh well. But yeah, on to lap 31, improving again. So pace is good. It isn't as good as Vasta racers or like Onyxes or Caspers, who were just insanely quick, but we were still pulling a solid gap, maintaining good times. So that was great, and we get DRS once again from Jordan. The rest of this race was literally just maintaining the gap and trying to, yeah, just bring the car home. What I find interesting though is about the lapped cars just not really getting out of the way, which was kind of annoying. It doesn't really affect your driving too much, but it is annoying nevertheless. We got a warning there for pushing a bit too much, so I decided to check on Deichmann if he has any penalties, because getting a penalty now would be very detrimental. We loses the position, but Deichmann doesn't have a penalty either, so we need to just drive a bit more carefully as a lock up. But yeah, on track limits wise, we need to drive a bit more carefully in order to make sure we don't get any more warnings, or else yeah, that would result in a loss for us. But again, our teammate, thankfully, even though he's disconnected, gives us DRS. We managed to set an 11.6, and we'll go on board with this lap, because this was the fastest lap of the Grand Prix for me. But yeah, we'll go through the hairpin and use a bit of overtake. You just want to use a bit of overtake on the exits of corners, just gives you that little oomph through them. So it's not that bad. Through this right, you really have to be confident and just step on the throttle like really early, because the car just has that grip. And now we're a 10th up heading into this second sector. It's pretty difficult this, because it really wears down your front left, and the front left was the main issue of this Grand Prix, as it just dies really. And as you can see on the tire monitor, there's the warning sign for the tires wearing, which is worrying, but not really at the same time. You don't really get punctures in the 8% territory as long as you drive carefully enough. But anyway, using a lot of curb through this last corner, well, the penultimate corner, and we decide to pump, use some more overtake now. And we set an 11.4, which isn't that bad considering we are on about 27-28 lap old tires, which are nearing the end of their lives. But yeah, now on the last lap, we are 2.6 seconds, 2.7 now seconds ahead of Deichmann, which is amazing to see, just constantly extending the gap. Don't have too much ERS to work with, which is unfortunate. As we head through this fast right, you'll see that we're up on our time again, which is good to see. Just shows that our pace is still really good. Obviously it helps that the tire wear doesn't really affect it, and the fact that lower fuel means lighter car, so faster lap times. But anyway, we use rich throughout this whole lap because we just have that much fuel to burn. So heading into last sector, over a 10th up, we're set for an 11.2, but then we go wide into this last sector, so lose the back end a bit. So not that good of a lap. Tires are starting to die, munch that curb a bit, which isn't ideal. You want to really miss that curb, just simply graze it. But anyway, sticking to the inside, we come across the line in order to win, and another 11.4. So consistency really good, and as you can see, celebrating on the podium for our first win of 2020. Hopefully more to come. My pace looks decent on this game. There's still lots of things to work on. Quality pace is lacking, and I need to practice that. Race pace was decent, but at the same time, it wasn't quick enough compared to the top guys. So, whilst this is a great win for us, still lots to work on. And as you can see, P1 for us. So, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll be making lots of these kind of videos as League Racing starts again. So make sure to subscribe if you want to. If you don't like it, you can always unsubscribe. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time.